Thursday, that's tomorrow. The All-Star reserves will be revealed on TNT during the pregame show. Then you'll see the Bucks and Raptors. That's a good one at 8 Eastern time. Followed by the 76ers as they continue their Western Conference road trip, taking on the champs in Oakland. The Warriors have won 11 in a row. Tonight, it's Luka Doncic and the Mavericks in New York. Earlier today, Dirk Nowitzki talked about coaching Luka in the Rising Stars game and his advice for the rookie tonight at MSG.
Yeah, I told him, he's got to play hard, or I got to sub him out. I'm gonna be tough on him. I want to teach him a lesson, and he's been obviously tremendous for us. He's been an amazing find. I think he exceeded all of our expectations, and he deserves to be in that game. He even had a shot to be in the real All-Star game, and he still has, I guess. Once they announce the reserves, we'll see. But he's been, for a 19-year-old, his court vision, his play has been amazing, and we're happy to have him.
For Luka and Brunson and a couple others, this will be their first game here. Is there anything you would impart to them about kind of a heads up?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of want to stay in the moment. You don't want to get carried away by the magnitude of the situation here. And sometimes it's easier said than done. And whatever, you see some celebs in the front row, but you just got to stay focused, and once you get subbed in and just focus on your defensive coverage, focus on the next play on offense, and just stay in the moment and enjoy it.
Luka's played in a lot of high-pressure situations in his young basketball life at the age of 19, EuroLeague championship games, that sort of thing. This will be a different experience for him tonight at Madison Square Garden. What advice would you guys give him based on your own memories of walking onto that floor in front of that crowd the first time?
And the Knicks are not the Knicks as back in the past, but I will say is that mystique of walking in there as a professional basketball player, getting to play in front of that crowd. Usually the great ones have magical games in Madison Square Garden. And I think for him is somewhat you got to play well, you want to win, but you also have to put on a show in New York. And if you can do that, it seems like that's your measuring stick of one of those regular season games when you play against the Knicks in New York, G. And so I'm looking forward to him to have one of those special nights.
Yes, Steve, I think so too. And obviously we know Luka is a great student of the game, grew up overseas, so may have a different relationship and understanding of Madison Square Garden. But you know this, there's an electricity in that building. Mm-hmm. And you walk in there for a game, the fans are so knowledgeable, the music, the energy, everything about it, it's just prime time. And you feel it. And, look, he more than any rookie, I would say, is probably ready because the responsibility he had in the EuroLeague, which is, I believe, a tougher league than college basketball, the stage he was on, how he responded. So he is suited for a special moment. And you know what? This kid has had a lot of them already thus far at home and on the road. So one thing I'd say, and it took me a few games, I think, to figure it out. I would get so excited when I would first go to New York that, sometimes it worked against me. So I had to learn how to just stay within myself and then get excited throughout the course of the game. Not go out there for 2 hours and shoot before the game, right, which I did one time. I had no legs for the game. But, there's an energy there that's just hard to describe. You really just have to feel it, and he'll definitely feel it.
You know what I love about Matt and Grant? You may can attest to this. The conversations you have walking around New York before you play. Just the fans are coming up to you, and how are you going to guard John Starks? What are you going to do? Are you going to post it? They're so knowledgeable. You can't get caught up in talking to everybody about the Knicks basketball. So it's going to be interesting to see how he handles this, and I'm looking forward to this from Luka.
By the way, Pete Maravich has the rookie scoring record at Madison Square Garden, 40 back in the 70-71 season. That's something to shoot for Luka Doncic, who's scored better than 30 in 2 straight games now. He also has a chance at this point to become the 5th rookie in NBA history to average 25 and 5 for a season. Is he an all-star in the Western Conference, or should he be?
He has all-star numbers. And I think right now the Western Conference is just loaded. I think he gets a chance if we unfortunately have some injuries, and I think he's right there on that next cusp of being an all-star. But what I'm seeing is, if those numbers right, we're in the East, he would be an all-star right now. It's just unfortunately, I don't think, in my opinion, that he would be an all-star this season.
I agree with you, Smitty. The West is loaded. This kid is just remarkable what he's done. He has a promising future. There's a chance, possibly the last few years there's guys who get injured. Anthony Davis, we don't know how long it's going to take for him to get back. Inevitably, sometimes guys will sit down to replacements. But the kid what he has done, how he has played. I think everyone said that he was the most ready because of his experience, but I think he's exceeded everyone's expectations and how his confidence. Like, you just feel like the momentum, the confidence he's gained. And so this kid, he'll be an all-star, whether it's this year, next year, years to come. Definitely a guy who has a chance to be a perennial all-star throughout this league.
Somebody always gets hurt and can't play in the game. I think he will not make the cut tomorrow. I think he'll be the first guy called in when there's an injury in the Western Conference.
That's fair.
It's fair. It could be.
And also factoring in all the votes he received. I think that's something for Adam Silver to consider as well. The Dennis Smith situation in Dallas. They drafted him with a high pick, thinking that he's part of their future. They draft Doncic the following year. They may or may not be all that compatible together. Both probably need the ball in their hands. So you had Dennis Smith leaving the team for a little while and then returning. Rick Carlisle has said, they've worked it out and he wants to continue coaching him. Is he long for this team? Do they make sense together?
Matt, you do bring up a good point, and obviously it feels like he's digressed this year after a really good first-year, rookie year in the league. He's a guy that is accustomed to having the ball in his hands, and he's done that his whole career, did it his rookie season. And now you bring in this guy, Luka, who has a special skill set. And I love how Carlisle has used Luka, putting him on the 3-man, 4 position, going small, embracing small ball, but his decision-making, his ability to close games with his shooting and his, off the dribble. So he has sort of become, maybe, I don't want to say point forward, or maybe like Larry Bird or someone who I think of, or even LeBron, who's, a guy who's a 3 or 4, but the ball is, or the game is run through him. And that's hurt Dennis Smith. And so Dennis Smith, his game is not shooting. His game is athleticism, taking you off the bounce. Now you're asking him to be a spot-up shooter. His shot is not consistent enough to me to complement a Luka Doncic. So, there's some uncertainty there. He's still a young player. He's got a lot of basketball in front of him. If they ever decide to try to move him, I think there might be some suitors out there that would certainly welcome him in his skill set. But it just doesn't seem to be working. In a perfect world, they both would be thriving, playing great basketball, and that's just not happening.
Yeah, and I look at it, it's funny. I look at it when LeBron, joined forces with D-Wade, and we kept saying, is this going to work?
Right.
Wade won't have the basketball in his head, but he had experience, and they were looking to win a championship. I think for Dennis Smith, if they were older, it could work. He would find a way. But I think he hasn't found his way in the league, being just a second-year player. And then obviously you're that guy. And they say, oh, let me have that ball back. You can't play with the ball anymore.
Right.
I think that's totally hard on a young guy. And he's done a decent job. I know they've had some hiccups, like you said, but I think Dennis Smith wants to see, can I be Luka? I haven't got a chance to see if I can be Luka. Luka just came in from day one being Luka, and it's just been hard for Dennis Smith Jr. I think they could, but I think it'll be better for both the Dallas Mavericks and Dennis Smith Jr. if they can make a trade.
Smith's shooting numbers have actually gone up this season. It's the attempts and almost everything else that have come down in his second year in the league. Dwayne Wade, by the way, was one of the great off-the-ball cutters that in that era. That also helps playing with a guy who's ball dominant. Back to Luka. He'll be part of the Rising Stars game Friday night at All-Star Weekend, representing Slovenia for the world. And he'll be joined by Lauri Markkanen, DeAndre Ayton from the Bahamas, Ben Simmons, remember, from Australia. Folks forget that because he played at LSU. Bogdan Bogdanovic, the reigning MVP of this game. As always, know your Bogdanovi. Josh Okogie, Cedi Osman, who had a big night last night scoring. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander from the LA Clippers. Rodions Kurucs. Got to get your pronunciation.
Good job, man.
Hey,
For this
you nailed
game.
that one.
Better you than me.
Anunoby. He went to high school in Jefferson City, Missouri, my home state, but was born in the UK.
Wow.
And for the U.S., De'Aaron Fox will be there. Jason Tatum, that's a pretty good Rising Stars player right there, Jason Tatum. Same for Kyle Kuzma. The rookie Trae Young. Donovan Mitchell will fall into that category as well. You're talking about legitimate star players. Did you just do the...
No, I don't know.
You did the thing.
I don't know where that...
Well, one more time he's going to have to do it then, man.
Jaren Jackson Jr., Marvin Bagley III, John Collins. There it is. John Collins
Smitty, man, come on, man. You crazy,
Man,
dog.
Lonzo
You
Ball
also got to get you some hot water.
and Jared
throat.
Allen.
Guess what? Hey, John Collins, my most improved player.
You know what? Here's
I had Siakam, not because Grant said, I had Pascal Siakam. He's moved to the top of my list.
I probably have Siakam, and I have an admitted bias against second-year players only because I feel like they're supposed to improve a lot from year 1 to year 2. Does that make sense?
God, they're supposed to?
Yeah, you're
It
supposed.
doesn't always happen.
It doesn't always happen, but
Not
they're
the-
supposed to.
and
But that drastically
There's
changed.
a lot of
Pretty
there are a
impressive.
lot of players who get significantly better from year 1 to year 2. So
This
I
is-
almost
what's-
I wouldn't rule them out.
What year is this with Pascal Siakam? Second year, right?
No, he's beyond that, isn't he?
Third year, yeah. So he should have been drastically improved by now. If it's a fourth year, wow, he should
But
have been.
doesn't just work exponentially like that.
You said first and second. What about first and
He should
fourth
be an
year?
MVP now.
He should be an MVP right now, man. Come on.
Anyway, John Collins has been great, by the way.
Yes,
No,
he has.
not knocking John Collins. Coming up, we continue to construct a perfect player. Tonight, the category is jump shot. Smitty, not eligible. Steph Curry is. The road ahead presented by Dodge is a look at the next 5 for the Utah Jazz, who are fighting for a playoff spot in the West. In Portland tonight, followed by 4 straight at home in Utah. Time now to get to know one of the best defenders in the NBA, reigning Defensive Player of the Year, the Stifle Tower, the French rejection himself, Rudy Gobert.
This is a very good Utah Jazz team, and they are led by their dunking, shot-blocking big man Rudy Gobert, the reigning NBA Defensive Player of the Year.
You know, I always wanted to win it, and I still want to win it. But it's a team game, and you know, if your teammates don't play defense, there's no way I could have won it. Let's stop, fellas. Talk.
Utah turning up the heat.
The effort we put in every night really helped us as a team and helped me individually to get this award.
Gobert plays for the French national team, so besides his NBA duties, he's also experienced on the international stage.
They call him the Stifle Tower. You gotta love that nickname for a guy that's from France.
I think it's a different kind of basketball.
No look past Dio. Great touch pass to Rudy Gobert for the jam.
Both are good, you know, but it's a different style, and it's great to be able to experience both, I think.
The second Jazz player to win Defensive Player of the Year award, but he did not have the easy path. He had to go to the G League his rookie year, but he works and works, and he has become one of the premier big men in the league now.
I was picturing myself in the NBA for sure, but you know, I was really always focused on the moment.
He put a lot of time in, says he's stronger. Boy, is he a valuable piece.
I need them all talking. Come on. Urgency. I don't really want to put any limits on what I can do. I just try to help the team win right now, and I keep getting better. That's the goal.
All right, guys, the Jazz been playing well here lately, so have the Portland Trail Blazers. Decided to have a little fun with this West Coast game tonight. We're going to play over-under. You know how over-under works. I'll give you a number. You tell me over-under. It's very simple. Play along at home if you like. Over-under, 3.5 Rudy Gobert blocks tonight against the Blazers. Grant Hill.
I will say with my answer, Matt, under.
Survey says? No.
Under.
Under.
I say under because I think the ball's going to be in McCollum and Lillard's hands a lot. They're very crafty. They're not going to get to the paint. Utah's a great defensive team. They like to funnel the ball, much like Smitty did with Dikembe back in the day. But they will do their damage from the perimeter and the mid-range and stay away from Rudy Gobert inside.
Okay.
Ditto.
Ditto.
Yeah, next.
Okay. I would say under as well, simply because his season average is under
Yes.
3.5.
And same what Grant said.
Yeah. Over-under, 50 combined points for Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum.
I'm going over.
Okay.
The reason why is I love Donovan Mitchell, but I think it puts a lot of pressure on Ricky Rubio had to guard the other guard, and I think combined they will have more than 50.
Okay.
Ditto.
Also ditto.
I just think these two guys are so good. So much is relied on them. We can pencil them in for 50. It's who's going to be the third scoring option. That's the big question always with Portland.
Two average 47 combined points on the season. Yusuf Nurkic is still a game time decision. Let's assume that he's playing and say over under. Nurkic points and rebounds combined 25.
Under, because he's a game-time decision. He won't be healthy.
Well, no, I said let's assume he plays.
Oh, and as soon as he plays, he'll be a little banged up, so I'm going to go under. And also, I think it'll be a little bit tougher because of Rudy Gobert.
Big fella, yeah.
Make him have to shoot a lot of more mid-range and outside jump shots.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm going under too.
Yeah, you're going under as well. All right. He averages 25.6 combined for the season so far. Donovan Mitchell averaged 30 points a game over his last 10. Over under 30 points tonight against the Blazers.
Well, you know what? He's going to get 30. He's been playing great. He's at a point now where he kind of got off to a slow start, it seemed, his sophomore season. But now he's found his rhythm. He's in a groove. And I don't think the perimeter of Portland can contain him. So 30, yeah, pencil him in.
Did
30
you say
plus.
over or under? You
I
can't
didn't say
take 30
I was
exactly.
at 30.
I said
You
30
said 30 a couple of times.
plus. Over.
So over.
Yes.
The
I'm
word
sorry.
I'm looking
I didn't
for.
clarify. I was thinking over, but I didn't
Judges,
articulate.
The judges say yes.
Kel said yes.
We're looking for the word
Kelsey
over.
said yes.
We're looking for over.
Yes.
I'm going over. And I think what Grant said is they started off slow, and he was playing subpar to what we saw his performances last year. He started with the ball in his hand. He started putting up big numbers. They started winning. So you got to stay with that formula, and I think he'll be a big number. He's playing against two big-time guards. He's going to want to come out and play extremely well. He'll have more than 30.
24 plus in 12 straight games. The last Utah Jazz player to do that was Karl Malone back in 1995.
Over and under, Joe Ingles, 4 more fast break points for you, man. I'm giving you one.
I'm always go under on that.
Gotcha.
I don't know what his actual number is. I'm just guessing.
Yes, you just guessing.
I'm guessing it's
Anything fast and Joe?
It's fairly small.
And
Joe
break
does
the
a lot
under.
of things really well. Sprint, not necessarily.
Not at all.
All right, segment over.